I was wondering what the challenges were doing a show where it was like a dub of a pre-existing cartoon versus, I assume if it's English language first, it's more like voice actors do all the stuff first and then they animate. And also, since you said you were already a Transformers fan, I was wondering, were you also familiar with Beast Wars, or at first was it like, why are the Autobots fighting these guys named Predacons? Like, where are the Decepticons? Like, kind of like, did your level of knowledge, like, how did that, like, color your...
Bob Joles, everybody. Bob Joles.
Hey!
X-Brawn had to change some fuel.
I'll give a quick answer, Wallace, if you don't mind. So first of all, the language changed with everything. I had a grill. It was easy. I didn't have to lip match. I didn't have to do nothing. My character, I had to match body movements. And the director's yelling at me in the headphones, too fast, too slow, slow down, speed up, So that, for mine, that part was easy. I will tell you, when we were doing it, we were, I guess it was in Japan first, right? And then they took it us. Some of us actors were like a little disappointed that they didn't do fresh CGI and fresh characters and things like that. We're like, man, they got the budget now, they can do it. But as we started doing the show, we didn't care. It was a classic, fun look. When it comes to Beast Wars, I was an original Transformers fan, so I liked Beast Wars, but I wasn't like diehard over it. So, but when they brought back Robots in Disguise, I was actually excited. I thought that was, a cool refresh. And Prowl is now alive again, so it was a good thing.
I was so dirt poor in the 80s that I didn't even have a TV, so I never got to watch. No, seriously, I was dirt poor. I never got to watch any of the Transformers stuff, but I knew of the franchise, and I know that was huge. So have you seen, are you familiar with a British Transformers organization called Auto Assembly? Anybody ever heard of that? Okay, I appeared there, I think, 2004. Simon Plume and a bunch of people run that. It's really great. But back when we were dubbing this, right toward the end of the second season, I think, I had a guy come in and film the whole dubbing process. So it's me with the script and the whole thing. So I know that Simon has that video and had tweeted it out. But if anybody wants to see it, would you like to see it? It's like a 10-minute video of us actually dubbing the show. I'll put it on my website, wallyontheweb.com. I'll tell my webmaster to put it on. So by Monday, expect to see it. But you can actually watch how we went through the process of dubbing it, and then you'd see the video come up, and then you got your script, and you're like, sideburn, transform. No, I'm a little off. Okay, let's take it again. And you hear the beep, beep, beep. If you're familiar with when you dub, there's a beep, beep, beep. So it's pretty interesting. It's fun to sit around the Garfield show with Frank Welker and a bunch of other actors and just kind of improv a bunch of stuff, and then they decide to keep it in the show, which is kind of freeing, and then they animate to you, which is called original animation, and then, of course, the dubbing, which is a whole different protocol, a whole set of different skills that you really have to abide by. I equate dubbing anime or anything with jogging with weights around your legs. Because some of the best actors I know are the best dubbers, because you're so extremely limited. You've got to stay in character, you have to stay in voice, your acting has to be good, and your lip flaps have to match the rhythm of the thing. And sometimes lines have to be rewritten on the fly because they're either in English too long or too short. And there was a great show that I got to be involved with called Tiger and Bunny. Thank you. And Kotetsu, when he's, when not in the robot or not in the armor, you see his mouth and you got to worry about the lip flaps. And they did let us improv quite a bit on that show, which is, Yuri's a great improver and I've got a background in it. So it was a lot of fun for us to kind of Americanize it with little things that we throw in. But once those helmets went on, woohoo! We can do anything. There was one where Wild Tiger in his full armor, and there's these creatures on these robot creatures on the bridge, and they have these machine guns on the top, and they're shooting everything. And Tiger jumps up on top of one of them, pulls off the machine gun, and he says something that translates from Japanese to normally I don't approve of firearms, but under this circumstance, I'm like, no, America's not going to play. So let me throw something in as an improv and see what happens. So Tiger jumps up, rips it off, and before he shoots, he goes, "Say hello to my little friend." And they actually kept it in, which I thought was pretty funny. So, but it is a whole different process from doing the, right?
I don't know the question. Could you repeat it?
Sorry, it was like the difference of doing a voice for doing a dub versus like a non-dub show?
The best part, very similar to the first answer, X-Brawn had a plate in front of his mouth. Everybody were guaranteed 2 hours on the foreign dubbing contract. I had everything done in 20 minutes. And I was cursed by every other actor on the show. Yeah. Why did you get this character? I'm lucky. I did the best voice for him? I don't know, but it's just the way my character is drawn. Doing a regular show, there's so much fun, and especially if you get to do an ensemble read. There's so much give and take between everybody. When I was working on Planet Sheen, we had some of the best improvers in that room. Rob Paulson, Jeff Garcia, Jeff Bennett, Fred Tatasciore, Candy Milo, myself. I mean, we had a ball doing that show. And Jim Hope, who was our main writer and also was the voice director, would come in and he'd say, okay, we're going to go from line 1 to 12. And we'd read all that. And well, thank you very much. It doesn't look like bourbon, but that's okay. Didn't get my order,
Great
did you?
gin, though. It's great gin.
We'd read the lines, we'd go through the first time, and then Jim would say, okay, let's tweak this or tweak that or whatever. We'd do it the second time, and they'd say, okay, wild pass. We could do whatever we wanted as long as it stayed within the framework. And I would say 90% of the time, something that got improvised during that third pass stayed in the show.
That's so cool.
It's the greatest feeling in the world to do that. They do the same thing on SpongeBob, too, when I get to do Man Ray. You know, those shows were fun, too.
Well, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
Great to have all three Carr brothers here.
Thank you.